Hey guys, I've got a wood burning stove installed in the house. It's one of those tent stoves. It's one of those, it says military tent stove. A friend of mine gave it to me to use until I can get one of my own. So I started building a surround. Okay, and this was all empty walls. No, there was just studs, no insulation. And I had got some drywall for free. So I insulated it with the free insulation I got out of that old wrecked mobile home out front. And then I drywalled it. I haven't taped and bedded and done anything else with it yet. And then I went and I bought some concrete board, some Wonder Board. I could have used Hardy Backer, which is a fiber reinforced concrete board, but I wanted something with more actual concrete in it because I was worried about heat transfer. And then these tiles I got at Habitat for Humanity. They're 18 by 18 inch tiles. They were $1 a piece. They're travertine stone, totally rocking the good deal there. Would you quit, Alice? My dog's trying to lick me. But they're 18. There's 2 tiles right there. Right there's 1 and there's 2. And I've still got to put, watch out, Alice. I still got to put tile right here. But it was below freezing, and so I couldn't really run the wet saw, and I wasn't going to run it inside because it makes such a mess. But one thing I noticed that, my dog's chewing on my foot. One thing I noticed is that these walls heat up really bad. And it's not because they're built wrong, it's just because that stove is putting out a lot of BTUs. So I went outside and I had some, just like stainless steel pieces that I had got, somebody was throwing away. And I thought maybe I could make a countertop out of them at one point. But they just been sitting over there. And I needed something to shield the wall because of the heat. So I pulled those 2 pieces in and it worked like a charm. So I may have to cut those down because they're too tall. I don't need them that tall. Cut them down, and then I was thinking about putting some sort of a hinge on them to hold them together so I can adjust them independently without having to lean them against something. Now that's single wall pipe right there, the black pipe. And then that's double wall pipe I got down at Home Depot. And then it extends above the roof about 3 foot. You have to have at least 2 foot of clearance because it's safer that way. Now that coffee can there is just, it's just a shield. It doesn't, inside of it is a double-walled pass-through. Okay? And then that pipe goes through the double-walled pass-through. So it's like a triple wall protection. Plus, this part right here is just another little added protection. They only put it there to block the air. And I ended up knocking the bottom out of it so I could get the pipe back up through. And I had a chimney cap on top of the roof I'd caulked into place to keep water from coming in, but I had to knock that off. And I have one of these to go up on the top of it later on today. And then I also have a flange that slides down over the pipe that fits onto the roof to waterproof it. But it was snowing yesterday, so I didn't want to deal with snow. But there is the wood stove. And it put out a lot of heat last night. I stoked it up good before I went to bed. And 8 hours later, it still had coals. I mean, you know, I'd burned it pretty hot all evening. So there was a lot of coals to start with. But what I did is I just took this right here. And I just closed it. Now, it's got a little bit of a gap. So it didn't totally choke it down. So it's still got airflow. I am going to put a damper in that black pipe there. I bought one. I got it on Amazon. It's a 3-inch cast iron damper. I've just got to drill the hole and put it in so that I can slow down the burn because I am losing a lot of heat up the pipe. But there's no help for that for right now. So this thing here doesn't sit really level. And then when I pulled in those pieces, they were covered in stuff because they'd been laying out there on the dirt. On the leaves, and so they made a huge mess. I got some of it cleaned up, but I gotta vacuum up all the little leaves and stuff that fell off of it because they were covered in ice as well. So, oops, focus camera, there we go. And then I pulled out my coffee pot this morning. I had already made coffee in my electric percolator, but I thought, well, okay, I've got all this heat coming up. Why should I have to pay for the electric to keep my coffee warm when I've got a percolator coffee pot that I can set right on the stove? So that's what I did. I poured it all up in there and I set it over there to keep it warm. And that way I'm saving on the electricity. The only electricity I'm using in this house right now is 2 LED light bulbs and my phone charger. Well, my phone charger's not even plugged in because I'm using my phone. So, this is just a little base that I built with legs to raise it up high enough where I didn't have to bend over really far to load up the front. You know, it's not that I was worried about it being, you know, or didn't have enough pipe for it to reach the floor. But the thing is when I'm sitting in a chair, because I'm sitting in the chair where I normally sit now, because this was where my table was, my kitchen table. I've got to reorganize that. But I didn't want to have to bend way over to just stoke it. Not when I could just raise it up a little bit, and I only had to lean over a little bit in order to restoke it. It doesn't hold a lot of wood, and the ashes build up really, really fast. Okay, it's still got tons of ashes in there, and I took some out. I've got a bucket out back. I got to go find it. It's a galvanized bucket for ashes. I just got to find it and bring it in. On the back side, there's another one of these. Another one of these on the back side for when you're starting the fire, and then there's a slide ash clean out on the bottom in the back, but it's just got a couple of holes, so ash doesn't fall through real easy on that. So what I'm doing is I'm just reaching in there with the little hook, and I'm raking things forward, and as they cool off, they turn to ash right there on the bottom, and I'm just shoveling them out. And then I'll reach in there and rake some more things this way. We'll see how that works. I may end up having to open up that bottom clean out. But anyway, guys, this is one way that you need to be prepared for shtf, okay? You need to be able to have heat and a way to cook your food, or heat your coffee, as is, in the event of a grid down situation. Now, this is all dirty right now. I didn't clean it up and try to make a perfect set for it. I just let you see it as it is. Wood stoves are kind of messy. Okay, you can just expect that. Now, what I've done is I put things in buckets to bring it in, because I didn't have any firewood cut. So I've been gathering up sticks and bark and different things like that, and I just bring it in 5-gallon buckets, the cat litter buckets, so that it doesn't make as big a mess as it would if I just carried it in loose. And then I also have a muck tub that I'll put some stuff in to carry in, and it just stays in the tub, and all the stuff that falls off of the logs, and there's lots of stuff that falls off logs, all it will do is will just fall down in the bucket. And then, like at the bottom of that last bucket, I had a bunch of leaves and little bits of bark and stuff. I just scooped it up in my hands and threw it in the wood stove. Watch out, puppy. And there's Alice. Yeah, her's a good girl. She wants by. Okay, go ahead. There you go. And she's such a sweetheart. But I wanted to let you guys see the wood stove. I just put it in last night. But like I said, I went to bed at 1:30 in the morning. Okay, I had it stoked really good. I had 2 good pieces of firewood that was like cut and split. I don't even know where I got them from, but I had them, so I put them in there, and they were pretty good sized chunks. And then I had some smaller chunks that I threw in there that were more beefy than just little limbs and bark. And I put those in there, and then I covered them up with littler sticks and stuff. And I just packed it pretty full. Turned off the damper once it started flaming a little bit. I turned that damper off, and then left it overnight. And then in the morning, and I got up once during the middle of the night, and I checked it, and it was still really warm. And when I got up this morning, which was 8 hours later, when I looked inside, I still had coals. So I didn't have to restart the fire, because I'm not the best fire starter you ever saw. I need to practice that, by the way. Note to self. So, anyway, if you guys would hit the thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends, and all that kind of good stuff. And y'all come back to see me. Oops. I'm not even recording.